Hello and welcome to Dynamics 365 Field Service Integration Session. My name is Ivan Koletic and I'm a product manager in Business Central team at Microsoft. So in this session, I will take you through a sort of a new kid on the block in terms of integration. That's the integration with Dynamics 365 Field Service, between Dynamics 365 Field Service and Business Central. This is our agenda for today. We'll talk a bit about the field service integration value, what it brings to the table. We'll talk about how do you enable this integration, how to synchronize the basic master data that is needed, such as project tasks, resources, service items, how to manage work orders and how to consume them, and in the end, how to invoice the work that has been done through the work orders in field service through Business Central. Let's first talk a bit about what is actually the value and why it is important that Business Central has an integration to field service. One of the things that we hear from a lot of companies, and I assume there is no service company that doesn't want to streamline their service operations and improve efficiency. One of the things that's particularly interested in here for our Business Central customers and partners is the capability of providing visual scheduling of the work, increasing automation and aligning the work order data with financial transactions in Business Central. On the other hand, what Business Central actually brings in here is that visibility to the inventory of the products that you have. But on the other hand, one of the things where field service actually also brings a ton of value is a lot of is offline capabilities, where you can find technicians and people usually working in places where they don't have internet connection. So this is something that field service will nicely supplement to the value that Business Central is providing. On top of that, Business Central brings in accurate and compliant invoicing to the mix, together with ensuring that you have consistent product and resource information, be it prices, be it costs, and so on. Another very important thing to notice in terms of integration value is, as you all know, we do have integration to Dataverse and Dynamics 365 for sales, and our integration solutions are built in a way that they can be easily customized and extended by partners. And some of the partners might have endeavored in this way of creating a custom solutions that integrate field service, but now that is no longer needed, as you get these capabilities off the page, which of course helps reduce the burden on the partner channel, and given that it is now part of the product. And of course, it also will hopefully reduce the implementation time that is needed, from what I've been hearing, from months to maybe a couple of weeks. So let's dive in the first sort of section of the field service integration. In order for you to use the field service integration, of course, you will need to enable it. As I mentioned, we have Dataverse and Dynamics 365 for sales integration already, and the field service integration is something that builds on top. This means that in order for you to enable field service integration, you will first need to enable a connection to a Dataverse environment where you have sales and field service installed. All of this is actually packaged up in an assisted setup guide, which will guide you through this process. In order to enable field service integration, you will also need to designate some project journal templates and batches where the data about the consumption of hours and consumption of products is going to land in Business Central once the integration is enabled. Apart from that, it's important that you also specify how and when you want the consumption that happens in field service to get transferred to Business Central. So you have two options of when to when to synchronize work orders or products. You can actually choose between when those are actually marked as used in field service on the product lines, and you also have an option to set when and how you want this data that gets transferred to the project journals to be posted, whether it gets posted automatically or you want to have some more control and you just want that data to land in your project journals, then you review it and post it manually. Which brings us to our first demo. So one of the first things that you need to do is we need to look at the field service settings. The reason why we need to change some of these settings is because they will conflict with the way that the integration is working. One of the first things that to do is to make sure that the inbuilt invoicing capabilities of field service are disabled. So we disable work order invoice creation. Another thing that you will want to turn off is calculating prices and costs, because Business Central is going to be the product that, when integrated, is going to drive those things. And on the purchase tab, since we'll be using inventory from Business Central, you should actually set use products out of stock to blank. So now back in Business Central, when we start the field service integration setup, as I said, you need to pick project journal templates, you need to pick the project journal batch. You will also need to designate a hour unit of measure, because all of the work in field service is expressed in duration. So we need to know what is going to be the unit of measure for that. And you will pick this work order product synchronization and posting settings in assisted setup. After the assisted setup is completed, you can actually go and run the full synchronization. And that will actually get you transfer all the data that is needed for integration to work. You simply go and select, you synchronize everything, and once that process is completed, you'll be able to start working with field service integration. So in this demo, we briefly looked at what are the field service settings that are needed and how to actually enable the field service integration. So let's move forward. The next section of the session talks about the master data that needs to be synchronized. And you saw us run full synchronization, which initiates some of the new master data that gets transferred, that gets synchronized between Business Central and field service. What you may have noticed briefly in here and in the picture that we have in here is that we are now synchronizing resources to a bookable resource to enable work order scheduling. We also do synchronize service items to customer assets to track operations on such assets. And we also do synchronize project tasks to sort of enable consumption and to link the work order to a specific project that is then going to be where the postings are going to occur and from where the invoices are going to be created. And now let's also switch to another demo to see all of that in action. So we'll start this demo in field service. And one of the things that you might have noticed is I've mentioned we are now synchronizing resources to bookable resources. All of you who know our integration to Dynamics 365 for sales know that the resources have actually been synchronized to products. In order to enable work order scheduling, we need to now start synchronizing resources not to the products, but to the bookable resource. One of the things that you will be warned during the connection setup to field service is that if the assisted setup guide actually detects that you have resources synchronized with products, it will actually propose that you uncouple them in order to make sure that the resources can get synchronized to bookable resource. There's another caveat in using the products that you might have synchronized already with sales, in order to use the products in order to use the products from Business Central in field service, we will need to make sure that the products have the field service product type filled in. The reason why integration is not doing that out of the box is, on one hand, performance reasons, because you might have a large catalog of items for us to do it automatically. And another thing is the resource thing that I just mentioned. The resources might be included in there. So for that reason, we actually said it's better to leave this up to the users, because it's fairly easy to do that, especially with virtual tables and so on. I have a small list of Business Central products which I know how I want to set this field service product type. It actually does map to Business Central's Business Central items type, right? So let's just set all of these products to be inventory, and I have a couple of them that I want to set as service. Let's take the project fee as well. And let's just save that. All right, so while that is being done, let's switch back to Business Central and look at the integration table mappings. And in here, we can go through some of these new mappings that have been introduced. From what you can see in here, so there are two mappings, one for work order products and one for work order services, that are going to bring in the data from work orders that have some work executed that needs to be either consumed or posted in Business Central. There are project tasks. If you look at the filters in here, we are looking only at the project tasks of type posting. These are going to be the ones to which you will be able to link the work order to. And then there is also resources. These are the conditions for the resources that we are syncing. As you can see, the resources that we will be syncing to bookable resource need to have base unit of measure set to hour. That setting that we've set during assisted setup. The resource shouldn't be blocked, and the resources should not use timesheets in order to be eligible for syncing. And if we go and look at the resource list, hopefully my resources have already synchronized. Let me see. Yes, they are. As you can see, they are all coupled. You have the standard set of actions that users are used to from our Dynamics 365 or sales integration. So you can go ahead and set up coupling, delete coupling, do match-based coupling, synchronize the data, or simply open a sort of a coupled resource directly in field service. That will start the field service, and you will see the data from Business Central being transferred in here. Okay, so switching back to resources, let's also have a look at projects and how they are actually linked, and project tasks. So I will have a look at the project task lines. And in here, if you look at the project task card, again, you will see that standard set of actions that are available also in our other integrations for the coupled records. So let's open a project task in field service in here. And what you can see, what you can do directly from here, we could just go ahead and create a new work order. You can see the data from Business Central has already been synchronized. And let me just pick work order type is set and everything. Let's go ahead and save the work order. Okay, and here we have a work order that has been created using the Business Central data. It has been linked to a Business Central project task, and now it's actually ready to add products and services and book the resources for it. So in this demo, I've shown you how to prepare the products or items to work with field service. We've seen resources being synchronized to bookable resource, and I also shown you project tasks and how to link and create a new work order from a project task. So next section of this session talks about how do you manage work orders. So as you saw, we created a first work order. We brought in a service and billing accounts to work order, and it was fairly easy to link the work order to a project task. You can use the path that I've just shown you, or you can simply just create a new work order and pick among the tasks that belong to a specific service and billing accounts, or sell to and bill to customers. And of course, what we didn't see on that work order was the Business Central price list also gets transferred in there and can be picked as something that will drive the pricing for that particular work order. Work orders have work order products and services. This is where you record what kind of items or products you will need to complete the work order. In Business Central, we are synchronizing items of type inventory and non-inventory items, and they can be picked in work order product lines. You can also you will also be able to see a quantity on hand for the selected product on the work order product line, and also we are synchronizing items of type service as work order service lines. After you have set the material that you will use, and you have estimated, you've added a service that is going to be performed, another thing that you will need to do in order to proceed with executing the work order, you will need to book some resources. What you can see here on the screen, there is a list of well-known Business Central resources from which you can actually pick and schedule to perform the work on the work order. And as always, there's no better way than seeing that thing in action. So let's switch over to another demo. So we'll start this demo back in field service. We've already created a work order, and now it's time to add some products and services to it. So we'll add our AirPod coffee maker. We'll put in some estimated quantity. We'll save this. What you can see in here, it also automatically picks up the information about the inventory from Business Central. We'll also add some services. If you remember, we put these two items of type service. Let's call it just a repair, and let's say that we need that will need 3 hours. That will need 3 hours for that. Now that we have the product and we have the service, the last thing that remains in order for this work order to become scheduled is we need to book some resources, and we will do that from the resource scheduling. I just go ahead and say we need location agnostic resources, and I'll just turn this off. And here you can actually see the Business Central resources that have been mapped to bookable resource, which you can now book for specific work orders. All right. So now that we have a booking created, let's actually go ahead and relate it in here. You can save and close this. And we can now see that the work order has been moved to the state scheduled. Okay, so in this demo, you've seen how you can actually add the products and services that you synchronize from Business Central in Field Service Work Order, how you can create a booking for that, and how you can actually see the quantity coming from Business Central directly in a work order product line. Next thing that you want to do now that we have scheduled a work order and the services to be executed, our technicians go out, they do consume the materials that have been added to the work order, they do consume hours that have been put on the work order. And after they are done, they will report back after the service has been executed on what has happened, in order for the accounting department and for the sales department to be able to, on one hand, account for the costs that have occurred during execution of that work order, and to account for the inventory and actually invoice, in the end, invoice the work order. So once we set the work order product work order products and work order services as in a state used, we will get this information sent back to Business Central in those project journal template and project journal batch that we've specified, and from there we can proceed with posting consumption and invoicing and recording these transactions against that linked project task that we put on the work order. So let's see that in a demo. So we'll start this demo back in the field service where we have a scheduled work order. And now as the technician is executing the work order, he will mark the work order product and the work order service lines as used. Let's just accept the defaults in here, and for services we will also say yes, we've actually used, let's say we used actually an hour rather than 30 minutes to make things interesting. And let's save and close that as well. So back in Business Central, we'll look at the project journal to see that all of the used work order products and services have been indeed carried through. What you can see is 3 AirPods and 1 hour of repair that has been executed in here. So let's go ahead and post this. Perfect. And now if we look at the project and the task that we have actually linked this work order to, we can actually see that indeed these lines have been transferred to that specific project planning lines. So in this demo, you've seen how we marked work order product and work order service lines as used. That actually triggered the transfer of those lines to project journal lines, which we then used for posting the consumption to the specific project task. And we ended up showing the posted consumption and the lines in the project planning lines that got created during that posting process. The last thing that we have in order to sort of wrap up this whole process is to invoice the work orders. And of course, this is something that is being done directly from Business Central, where once you get the project planning lines, you can simply create an invoice, and that invoice that gets created and posted will be transferred back to field service, also as an information of completion of that particular related to that work order, and as an information of completion of the work order. So let's quickly see that in a demo. So back in Business Central, looking at the project journal lines, we can now go ahead and create a sales invoice. Can view that sales invoice that was created. We can go ahead and post it. After posting it, we would actually go ahead and send it to our customer. And of course, we also have a sort of a recurring job that would pick up posted invoices and transfer them to field service or sales. But for the sake of the demo, I will just click here to have this created. So I think we should actually have an invoice now done. Yes. And if I click the invoice in here, what you can see is that information about the invoice actually goes and gets transferred together with the products and the information about the posting back to field service. And in this last demo, you've seen how easy it was to simply convert the project journal lines to the sales invoice, post the sales invoice, and transfer the posted sales invoice back to field service, thus wrapping up the whole process. And that was it for this session. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have the time and if you are willing to learn more, I strongly recommend you check out these two very related sessions on what's new in service management, what's new in project management, that is being delivered by my colleague Andre. And of course, if you do have any questions, you want to engage in the conversation, have a product suggestion or something, make sure to check out some of these links and reach out to us with your feedback, which is always welcome. And with that, I want to thank you for your time and attention during this session.